We were treated to a classic on Sunday Night Football. The Chargers survived the Bengals 34-27. They improved to 7-3 on the season. And once they got out to that 27-6 lead after that field goal early in the third quarter, I thought this game was going to get really ugly from that point on. But the Bengals out of nowhere just scored 21 unanswered. T. Higgins, he was going off. Jamar Chase was going off. Chase Brown, the running back, had a crazy game. And the defense actually started to play really well. And it helped the Bengals get back into the game. They tied it up 27-27. And at that point, you have the feeling that the Bengals have came from down 27-6. They rally back. They tie it up. And now you think that they're about to roll to a win. But the Chargers were able to somewhat regain the momentum when Evan McPherson, the kicker who they recently gave an extension to before the season, misses 2 critical field goals. Justin Herbert and company, they get the ball back with a little bit of time to get in the field goal range and walk out with the win. And not only do they get in the field goal range, but they add insult to injury with J.K. Dobbins scoring the go-ahead touchdown, which eventually won the game for the Chargers. And Justin Herbert, he was in his bag tonight. In the first half, I saw this dude throw a crossbody touchdown to Quentin Johnston. He was making some big throws to Ladd McConkey. And on that final drive to win this game, he threw an absolute dart to Ladd McConkey. He's going near the left sideline. The dude ends up catching a clutch pass when Justin Herbert just puts it on an absolute rope. And the whole time I'm watching Justin Herbert tonight, I'm trying to figure out what people see in this dude that makes them say he's overrated. Because in my opinion, after what I watched tonight, not only is Justin Herbert an elite quarterback, but put this man in the MVP conversation. The expectations for the Chargers were not that high coming into this year outside of the fan base's expectation. Chargers fans knew how good this team was going to be, so it's no surprise that they've been as good as what they've been up to this point. But Justin Herbert, though, he has had a lot of games when he's taken over. He's put this team on his back. He's made a lot of Patrick Mahomes kind of throws that don't really get posted that much on social media. And Justin Herbert right now is the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. If you can watch this game tonight and your only takeaway is, oh, Justin Herbert, he's good, not great, you're a hater and you need to go get your eyes checked. Justin Herbert deserves a lot of credit for how good the Chargers have been. And a lot of y'all don't understand how rare it is for a guy who has to overcome so many head coaching changes to be this good. Most quarterbacks that have to go through 3-4 head coaches in their first 5 years in the league end up being bust. Look at what happened to Jameis Winston with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look what happened with Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans. The fact that Justin Herbert is balling out, having another head coach once again early into his career, he's only like 4 or 5 years in, shows you how good he is. He can still play at an elite level no matter how many different systems he has to learn every offseason, no matter how many new head coaches he gets. You got to give Justin Herbert his flowers for how well he played tonight. And moving forward, I believe the Chargers are one of the more dangerous teams in the AFC because they aren't going to make a Super Bowl run, but they could pull off an upset or two in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and they could surprise us all by being in the AFC Conference Championship game. Now, they have a game coming up in a few weeks against the Baltimore Ravens. We get to see the Harbaugh Bowl between the 2 Harbaugh brothers. That's going to be a really interesting game to watch. I can't wait to see it. And the Cincinnati Bengals, this is a heartbreaking loss. It doesn't get more heartbreaking than this. Because you think that your season's over, you're not going to have any shot at winning this game down 27-6. All of a sudden, you rally and score 21 unanswered. You tie the game up. You came too far to lose the game at that point. if you're Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, or anybody else on that team, you're having that mentality. We got to do whatever it takes to win this game. We got to play like desperate men because desperate men do desperate things. And you could tell Cincinnati was desperate because their defense actually chose to show up for the first time all season. This defense played well in the second half of this game, and they only gave up that touchdown to J.K. Dobbins in the end. But you know, when you pay Evan McPherson all that money before the season, him missing these two critical field goals is unexcusable. He's supposed to be one of the best kickers in the league. And there's been too many games this season that the Bengals have lost because this guy didn't hold up his end of the bargain. And the defense, you can't ask them to completely play well for the entirety of the second half. You knew eventually that the Chargers were going to end up putting some points up on the board, and this offense was going to have the ball in their hands if they were going to be able to walk away with this win. But unfortunately, if Evan McPherson doesn't miss those field goals, you probably end up winning this thing because although the Chargers would have been able to score, it's only a 1-point game at that point. It's more easier with 18 seconds left to go for you to get in the field goal range, attempt a game-winning field goal, than it is to drive down the field and get a game-winning touchdown with that short amount of time. And the Cincinnati Bengals, at this point, the playoffs already have started for you after this loss. You have no room for error. You can still get into the playoffs going 10-7, but you're not going to get into the playoffs finishing 9-8. You got to win out. Your postseason starts now after this loss. For the Chargers, not only do I feel like you are one of the biggest sleeper teams in the league right now, but you still have a shot at winning the AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs, with them losing to the Buffalo Bills this afternoon, we saw that this team is not invincible. They can be beat. And I feel the Chargers have a good enough team to be able to take down Kansas City and possibly win this division. I still see Kansas City finishing with 12, maybe 11 wins, and I could see the Chargers getting the 12 wins because the Chargers, they're getting healthier by the week. You got Joey Bosa, who's healthy. Imagine how good you're going to be once you get Khalil Mack fully healthy. So this is a team that right now is hitting their stride at the right time during the season. You want to be playing your best football near Thanksgiving, and that's what the Chargers are doing. Expect this team to not only be in the playoffs, but to be a little bit of a disruptor in the postseason. They're going to pull off an upset or two, and we could see them in the AFC Championship, a team that nobody really expected to go that far before the season began. But there's always a team or two that kind of sneaks up on us out of nowhere, and they're better than what we expect them to be. That team this season, in my eyes, are the Chargers.